Hey everybody, Sandy here. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. And if you're not new and you've been here before, welcome back. Today we're going to be working on a 20-ounce skinny. I've prepped this cup, spray painted it white, and it's just been waiting for an idea. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to be working with alcohol ink today, and this is Pinata's Passion Purple, however that shows up in there. And we're also going to be working with this Treasure Gold, and this is a really rich color gold acrylic paint, and we've got some 91% alcohol here and a little dish to put it in and a few brushes. And what we're going to be doing is I'm going to get started and I will show you, but what we're going to be doing is the technique is called Kintsugi, and what that is it's I can't remember if it's a Japanese art form or a Chinese art form. I believe it's a Japanese art form of fixing broken dishes. They believed that rather than throw away like a broken dish or a vase or something like that, that if they fixed that, it became stronger, and it was the art of joining the pieces back together with gold or silver, or I want to say maybe bronze or copper. Anyway, it's the joining together, but I'm sure you saw the picture in the beginning. So we're just going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to let it all kind of come together. So I'm just going to drop my alcohol ink on my tumbler, and I'm going to start moving it around. Now there's no ink on this, so of course it's not moving around really well, but you'll see as we go how it, whoopsie, I don't want it to run off on me. The point is to make the designs with our ink, and I'm almost tempted to add in some other colors, and I may, but at this point I want to get the purple down and see how I like that for starters, because we're going to be building off of this. Just looks like a mess, but we're going to be building off of this to make a nice design. We're going to put some veins in it, and I'm going to show you quickly with the ink what we can do as we go along here. Now that's pretty saturated. I don't want that. But you'll see that the ink, or the alcohol, actually will push the ink around, and we're going to be making veins to make this design. And it's not, there's no rhyme or reason to the design. It's not emulating anything in particular. It's just giving striations and veins, and you'll see as we go along. Let's see, as I push that ink along with the alcohol that's on my brush, it actually creates a vein, and as I come back, I can push more in that direction. It's very similar to doing the wood grain. However, this doesn't have that particular straight-on type of design to it. You'll see as we go along. Okay. Now we've got the tumbler covered, and we will need to get some more of our alcohol. And I put quite a bit in there. It doesn't take a ton of it to do this part. As you might have noticed when I was doing the ink, as I was pouncing my brush, I'm getting these wonderful little puffs, and I kind of like them. So I think we're going to try to do more of those and then vein in between a little bit. We're not going to vein a ton because we are going to be doing veining with the gold as well. So right now I'm just going to go in and pounce it out because I really like. And now the more alcohol that's on my brush, the more it's going to blur the lines, and I don't really want that. So I just cleaned my brush off a little bit more, and I'm just looking to just barely touch it and kind of pounce out. It really does make a really cool design. Let me see if I can find, like right here, that's was pounced out, and I don't think I'm going to touch much of that, but I'm going to go around to the parts where I didn't do that, and you'll see it'll start making its own veining as well. But we're going to do some that are intentional. As long as everything just keeps working out. I really am enjoying this. I like that look. And I like it running into the other colors. And as you can see, the alcohol, the rubbing alcohol that I'm using, the 91%, makes it a little less dark as I go over it. And that was the plan as well. I want there to be variations of depth and color and texture. I've done a few of the wood grain tumblers, and I really like them. But this is completely new to me right here. I'm sorry if that keeps moving. I don't really have a way to keep it still while I'm pouncing. I hope that doesn't make you sick. There. That looks really cool. I'm loving that. And I'm just picking up alcohol from the paper towel down below. There was enough that came off of my brush that it actually is allowing me to pick it back up. So I'm going to go ahead and do this and be quiet and let you ride along. if there's a point, like let's say this right here, we don't want it that light, we can go back in with our ink, and I'll show you. I'm not really disappointed in that, but I want to show you that we can go back in and put a little bit of ink on there again, and we're back to square one with our color. And there's so much you can do with the alcohol ink. There. And that's all filled back in again. And I may do some of the other lines that I want. Like say I've got a vein going here that kind of splits off, and I like that. So I'll just go in and work from this end, and it, let me see if I can get it where you can see it. You just push your ink with your brush that has the rubbing alcohol on it, and you can reinvent that vein and define it more if you want. And this is working out quite well. When I do my wood grain tumblers, like, all right, here, I'm going to put a new vein here. When I do my wood grain tumblers, it's very labor intensive, but I go through very meticulously to get the wood grain the way I want it and to give myself the knots that I want. And it's really hard to explain, but seeing it done kind of makes it all self-explanatory. And if you've done wood grain, you know, I see people that don't worry about doing knots or anything like that, and that's fine. Their stuff still comes out nice. So you can be as meticulous as you want, or you don't have to be. And I'm just giving myself another vein here, and I'm thinking I'm going to do the veins with this brush just because this one wants to just kind of push it around. And if I was doing a wood grain, one of these would be great for doing my knots. But I wasn't sure with this one exactly how I wanted that done. But I think I have it. And you can see there's a vein there, there's the vein. This comes down and into a couple of other veins. So I think that's just how we're going to play this one out. And you don't want them all kind of running the same way. We're going to outline the veins, some of the veins with the gold, which you'll see as we get there. And as I move along, it doesn't really seem like I'm doing anything, but if you pay attention to where the top part of my brush is along here, you can see the vein actually develop. I think we're going to allow that to be what it is. All right. That being said, we're going to get into our gold. I'm going to use this brush, and if you've seen any of my other tutorials, you've probably seen this brush in there. I'm going to just pull small veins of the gold, and I will tie it in some places to itself, and others I will just outline. And that remains to be seen how many connections we have or how many single layer lines we have. So our bottom looks pretty good. We're dry enough to where I think I can put it down here. I won't be able to roll it around, but I am going to have to stand up to do this because I need to stand over it to see it. Oops. This gold is such a rich gold. I love it. It's so pretty. Let's see. There we go. I do that to take off the big globs that might get caught on there. Okay. I hope I'm still in frame here. Let me see if I can move this back a little bit. Just so you can see, maybe I should zoom you in a little. Oops. It wants to give me a hard time. Whoops, sorry about that. All right. Now you should be able to see it a little better. And that gold is picking up a little bit of the ink color. And I don't totally dislike that. I'm almost wondering if I should have waited. I did this before on a regular coffee mug. And it didn't pull the ink. But I didn't use purple. I used a very light pink. But it almost looks like a rose gold. I don't know if you can tell that or not. But it almost looks like a rose gold. And it's actually kind of pretty. All right, I'm going to have to hold it. Let me see. And I'm bracing my finger against the tumbler to give myself a little more control. This is a really pretty gold though. And I really hope I don't have to go back over them. And they use thick strokes and thin strokes, and it's varied, I want to say. It's kind of pretty, isn't it? I think it is. Looks like it needs a little bit more. Oh. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Let's try it without the paper towel because I really don't want it to get caught up in it. Let's fill that in there, because many times when they're missing a piece, if it's too small to put another piece in there, they will put in, I'm not really sure what they use as far as, I know they use gold, they use silver, they use whatever, but I'm not sure what the adhesive is that they use. But I do know that they do something like this when they don't have a piece to put in there. At least that's my understanding. And we don't want a ton, because we just pretty much, for this, want it to be accented. I'm just trying to see if there's any areas where I could maybe sneak in, like maybe right here, somewhere in here, I could sneak in a little line. But like I said, I don't want it overdone. Yeah, somewhere in here I need something. So let's say it comes from here. We're going to do one there, and we're going to join it. And their lines are thick and thin. So if you do this, definitely look it up and see pictures of what they've done. It really is interesting, and it really adds a certain kind of beauty to their porcelain pieces that have been broken and renewed. There. I think we better join that one right there, because it's not quite joined. I really like that it is giving hues of rose gold through there too, almost like it's a little bit tarnished. So if you've ever done this, would you leave me a comment about your technique? And I mean, I'd love to hear from you. If you think you're going to try this, if you've never done it and you think you're going to try it, I'd love to hear what your plans are for it. Okay, the alcohol ink has sat overnight, and I have sprayed it with Rust-Oleum 2x clear matte spray, just to kind of hold the alcohol inks in place in case they decide they want to move. And it's been drying now for a good 15-20 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and give it its first bath in epoxy. I hope you can see the designs in here. This is really a very pretty tumbler to see in person. And we may be doing more layers of the gold. I haven't decided yet, but at this point, it is what it is, and I'm going to go ahead and put some epoxy on here. I've got about, I think I've got like 10 milliliters. That purple is really popping with that resin on it. I love it. And since I just want to get a good first coat on here, I'm not doing it very thick. Because like I said, I might want to put a little more gold on here. I did some more searching around after I got this done to the point it's at now. And I did notice that there is usually a lot more of the gold on a piece. However, I don't want this to be too busy. I would like it to stay understated, so I haven't decided yet. I'm gonna marinate on it and see what I think. And like I said, I'm just doing a very, very thin coat, just enough to give it a sealed finish. But it is gorgeous. I gotta say it. Put a little on the bottom here. Okay, and there we have it. So this will sit on my turner and spin for probably 3 or 4 hours. It's a real thin coat, so it's not like it's going to require a lot. But I'm going to go ahead and hit this with the heat gun, but I'm going to turn you guys off so that when we do return, you will see the final product, unless I decide to put something on here, and then I will let you know that. Hopefully.